the name of God. God did not throw it that there should not be a speck of snow in the streets. The municipality's duty is to clear the streets of snow, and you have to clear the snow in your backyard yourself. Why do you throw out your snow's yard into the alley? Aren't you human? If someone is sick in the alley, how should she cross the alley? It is tough to be human. You are a Haji, but you are not human. You pray but you are not human. Who said you are human? The situation is deplorable in the promenades and the same in the alleys. This is our fantasy, this is our ambition. It is quoted that someone was passing in front of the mosque and the wind took off his hat. Everyone has a hat on his head. Every nation has a special hat. This hat was like the hat of the Armenians. Are you gathered inside the mosque and do you think you are important? Am I lying? If I lie, you tell me. In ancient times, people were afraid. My dear, what a hat this is. Nevertheless, every person has a hat. A hat has just arrived that is Caucasian, and one suspects that this person is someone else. Oh, nation! You did not find your hat, nor your head and ears, nor your beard and mustache. Woe to you, you have lost everything. Oh, man! You have lost everything. In short, the wind took off his hat and he ran after his hat. From Pythian came the call that, you were not prejudiced against me, and I was not prejudiced against you. I did not want this hat on your head either. That hat is gone, find yourself back. As if asleep, he woke up suddenly, returned to the presence of the Prophet, and converted to Islam, just because he kept the respect of the mosque. The son of a Jew eats during Ramadan, he slaps his son in the face, and this person was a Jew but a human being. His son said to him, "Why are you beating me?" He said, "Isn't it the month of Ramadan? Why do you eat with greed?" The boy says, "Ramadan is for Muslims, not for us." The father said to the son, "It's true, my son, but these are a nation, these are great for themselves. If you want to eat, come inside and eat. We are few in number in the city and we are in the minority. There are many of them and we must respect their fasting." At night, when he was asleep, he saw the Prophet in a dream. The Prophet said, "You have respected my religion. I ask you to come to Islam and I ask God to make you one of my people." When he woke up, he and his family, along with his son and daughter, all became Muslims. Muslims show off and we are afraid that one day we will put a flag on our heads. Oh, fasters, oh worshippers, did you respect Islam? I must say that if you do not respect, Islam will not respect, and you will not be respected. The children must be respected, the government and the nation must be respected. As long as you do not respect Islam, the mosque, the pulpit, and the Muslim world, you are not respected. Yes, you pray in the congregation. Someone came and said, "Oh, Prophet, I came and saw that they had said Allahu Akbar." He enters the congregational prayers from Takbir. I saw that they said Allahu Akbar, but I do not understand Allahu Akbar with you. What do you say to the reward of this? Says, do you see Abu Qabayz, that mountain of gold, if you owe it in the way of God, you still cannot reach the reward of God Almighty. The Imam agreed to offer the congregational prayer. To be the Imam of the congregation? A person does not come to the mosque for congregational prayers, so his house is destroyed, and his house is set on fire. Imam Sadiq came and went to the altar, but are you sitting at home? People who do not currently attend congregational prayers cannot be considered righteous, even if they are good people. Why don't you come to congregational prayers? I prayed at home. You made a mistake by praying at home. The fellow says I read on Saturday. What is this answer? Despite the mosque, why do you pray at home? There are all these clean, tidy, and carpeted mosques. Do you still cheeky? At a certain time, the mullahs of Tabriz gather for prayer. In the midst of all this, is there not a just person with whom you pray? This is not acceptable. Build mosques. See the Muslims sitting on the night of Muharram, watching the women dance. You see the shameless and drunk people. Are you a Muslim? The mosques are empty day and night. Let's fill the mosques with your presence. Let's not miss the congregational prayers in mosques. Many are sitting in an ambush in these mosques. On the day of judgment, a scorpion will stand up big and tall. Did you not see what it looks like? It is enough to see just to believe that it pulls its tail on the ground and its mouth is to the east and west. The people are also afraid. Gabriel says, pull your head back. Scorpion says, from the day God created me, He has given me 5 promises, collect them and deliver them to me, I am hungry. Gabriel says, who are they? Scorpion says, the first is people who do not pray, the second is drinking alcohol, the third is forbidding zakat, the fourth is adultery, and the fifth is someone in the mosque talking about the world. This is a mosque. This is where people pray, mourn, recite the Quran, preach. It's like school here, like the teacher is teaching in the classroom and his students are sitting and playing. Not acceptable at all. It is as if he is talking to himself. One should listen to the teacher. What is this prayer? These prayers must be performed again. These prayers do not reach anything. Someone like Alema has postponed all his prayers. I also read a news item from Amir al-Mu'minin Ali who commands, there are 4 groups of people who enter hell without calculation. They are those who left the prayer, even a rak'ah, drinker alcohol, even a sip. A person who drinks alcohol will die of thirst. He enters the doomsday thirsty. If he says for thousands of years, I am thirsty people, give me water, they will give him water, but they give him water from hell. They give him boiling, hot, and dirty water, but when he eats it, his intestines will be thrown out. Wise man, drink water, why do you drink wine? Stupid man, don't you have the wisdom to drink wine? A few nights ago, I was going to the mosque in the direction of Shahpur. Someone raised his hand. The taxi stopped, the man came closer. I do not know if he was a peddler or a worker. In short, he was one of the lower classes of society. He rubbed himself back, and in front of the car, he stumbles. He could not get in the car. He was like a mouse trapped. When we left, the driver told me, he was crazy. This is ugly for you, with this dress, why did you get this shit? These people have failed in the face of wine, and they may have been deprived of their parents. Perform 8 rakats of prayer while the weather is clear, because the gates of paradise are 8, and until these doors open for you, may God place you in the ranks of the worshippers. If you find yourself, you can be in the line of worshippers. Thank God that you often attend congregational prayers. You have to be very careful. It is 7 rakats of night prayer. Do you know why? Because the hell is dark and it has 7 doors that will be closed to you when you pray in congregation. Perform the congregational prayers, come, and sit at home because the doors of heaven are open to you. And what are the 2 rakats of morning prayer for? 1 rakah has asked God for help and assistance. It is a purgatory between these and those prayers that will be written in 2 places. 1 rakah is counted for the day, 1 company for the night. God says, the noon prayer is like a prophet. The evening prayer is considered as Ali Abu Talib. Sunset prayer is considered as Fatima Zahra, and night prayer is considered as Imam Hassan Mojtaba. As calamity befell that nobleman, and it's because when it gets dark. You read that Fatima Zahra was infallible, she was not a prophet and not a governor, and the night prayer is neither like noon nor night, and 3 rakats of night prayer are named Fatima Zahra. And the morning prayer is like Imam Hussein. The Prophet came and placed the religion in the meridian, the sun also came, meridian, and the Prophet took firm steps. At the time of the Prophet, the religion was very advanced, but slowly the situation became dark, but Imam Hussein came, clarified it again, and said, I am clarifying the law of my grandfather again, which is why they interpret the morning prayer in the name of Sayyid al-Shuhada. The Prophet said, Hussein is from me and I am from Hussein. If he is not, my religion will be forgotten. I kept my name, the name of Ali, the Quran, the mosque, the pulpit, and the name of God only for the sake of Ashura. He says, I prayed the morning prayer, I swear in the name of the God of the earth and the sky, this prayer has not been given to anyone except Hussein, they pray 100 Alis. This prayer is performed in 100 Alis when Gabriel comes down and says, are you ready for war? God says, Dear Hussein, there is a covenant between you and me, but I did not make it obligatory, but if you want, I will send my army to destroy this army of atheism. Now angels, goblins, wind, earth, and sky are all at your disposal, but Imam Hussein said, I will keep my promise. I love my pilgrims, the pilgrims who will come to see me. The narrator says, the paths are also closed, so the paths will be opened and we will go on pilgrimage. Later, the Shiites will shed tears for me, the sinful Shiites will also be forgiven, God willing, by mourning for Hussein. He said, I will keep my promise, I love to give my life here, and one day they will say that Hussein sacrificed his life for the sake of religion. One day they will say that Hussein sacrificed his youth for the sake of religion, and Hussein sacrificed for the sake of God. Well, let the prayer begin, and let us pray the morning prayer. As for ablution, they prayed with tayammum, they were thirsty at night, the king was also thirsty, the army, the calendar, children and adults, men and women, were also thirsty. The thirsty king was liturgist. See who says the call to prayer. Ali Akbar came forward and said the call to prayer. Oh, God, accept this prayer from us because of that prayer on the day of Ashura. If the prayer was that the oppressed person prayed, he deprived others of the right to act. When the prayer was over, he said, "Everyone draws their sword and come with me." The young people were gathered in tents. Ali Akbar took his sword. Leela opened her hands and prevented him from leaving. And Qasim, who took his sword, Sariya opened her hands and prevented him from leaving. There were cries from all the tents. Hussein ordered the Gonfaloniers to come. One of the Gonfaloniers was Habib ibn Mazahir. The Imam said, "I am a thirsty king, I have to be thankful, I have to be a Gonfalonier, I have to be proud." They gave the flags to Habib ibn Mazahir and Muslim ibn Azaid. I will finish my speech here. If you want to wish in the first year, if you want Karbala, if you want health and health of the body, and if you want success, tell the owner of the flag. Who is the owner of the flag now? Abbas Gonfalonier. Oh, brother, first bring that flag and put it on my head and give this army Gonfalonier to move. I do not read tragedy. Abbas ordered the army to move. The army of Umar ibn Said was frightened and terror took over their essence. Dear Zainab, brother, oh, Abbas, may God not show these days to your mother and sister. Oh, Abbas. And if you go, what will happen to Zainab, all the world at the sacrifice of the glory of your glory? They tied his neck with chains as if they had opened the world from his head, but these yards are for the guests, all these rooms, winter rooms, summer rooms, were all neat, clean, and tidy. But all of them are left empty and unused, and all of this becomes an excuse to put that chain around your neck. Why is all this necessary? One went and bought a cloth worth 10,000 tomans and knocked on the door and the wall. A person who has a house too much and uses it is hung around his neck like a necklace. What do you want to do with all this room? Now it is good if it is also lawful. After that, you will see that he took the property of small and adult, Muslims and infidels from them and made a living for himself. He is content to destroy everyone but to have fun himself. Is Islam like this? Is humanity like this? In that world, they do not allow you to rest for a moment, come, and go, all those chains are around your neck. Those who do not act and do not listen give themselves a thorn called a ganghul, a kind of thorn. When it is soft, the camel enjoys eating it, and as long as it stays in the sun and dries, it becomes so bitter that the camel does not eat it either. God explains it to the thorns in hell, and we see what the thorns are. In hell, we will attack the thorns from the thirst to eat them, but it is bitterer than Asvai and it has been interpreted as such. It is like a fireball. What should the poor eat from the same cannibals, because he has eaten the property of the orphan, taken bribes, usury, stole, not paid comes, eaten the property of Sayyid Imam and the rest. There is no news of these things anymore. If he is hungry, he will not be enriched. Some of the faces are beautiful and fresh, and some are white, red, etc. The color of their faces shows what they did, what hardships they endured, and what pleasures they enjoyed. It's written all over your face. They are in the best gardens. If you look anywhere, you will see that it has a large room and thousands of other rooms in heaven, and it can rely on the pillows and backs on any side it wants whenever it wants. And carpets that are beautifully spread out on the floor. And there are streams that flow and springs that have never been seen before and are available to the men and women of paradise that flow wherever they want. Palms and couches of paradise are sensitive. Get rid of the thought of physics and chemistry where you are stuck. Don't think about physics and chemistry at all. You realize the power of God there, when water flows from anywhere at the fingertips, from under the springs in front of doors and windows, etc. The control of water is also in the hands of the heavenly beings. There was a morning ceremony on Jahnaz Street, Shariati Street, and it was raining heavily that night. When they came from a distance, I was surprised and said, "What did this deceased do and what did he do that so many people have gathered here at this time and in this weather?" The lights went out and I spoke in the dark. At 6 o'clock, I went to the pulpit and everything I said was in the dark. It must be so that electricity reaches all villages. There is a village that has 600 families but no electricity. Don't they bother? Aren't they Muslims? All their daughters are modest. They're not like Tabriz and not like Tehran. They have a mullah. The poor people gather around him. He teaches them the rules of religion, and they live with great difficulty. The heat is generated by them. They collect animal waste, dry it, and use it again for heating, or finally with a pressure lamp, they do party work and food and so on. You see, a person bought a veil for his wife 4 years ago, and his wife goes everywhere with it and shivers from the cold. If you want to get married, go, and get a wife from the village. Do not care about the girls in the city. These will not be a woman for you. Of course, I am not talking about chaste women. I do not know how time goes, but man must practice his religion and not go beyond his limits. At this time, people became rebellious. The dowry was 30,000 tomans, 40 tomans, 60 tomans. Do not accept all these dowries. In some villages, they made a law that whether you are a business person or a deputy, the dowry is not more than 1,000 tomans. I saw that I am saying that they give 400 to 500 tomans to the girl's family so that they can provide a dowry for their daughter. Beautiful girls who, even if they take a bath once a month, still shine like the sun. But these urban girls, their eyelashes with one color, their lips with another color, their hair with another color, after spending 200 tomans. You can see that the eyelashes and lips are each one color. But what do you want to do with this big and ugly nose? Let go, and do not pay attention to them. How much do you go to these hairdressers? Sometimes they take the hairdresser home and they stand in front of the door like a servant and tell you to make up my wife.